How many of you have felt like you're doing pretty good on the sales call and then it gets time to say the price and you can't even get 10K to roll off your tongue, your voice cracks, your barely can breathe, your heart is racing, and it's all because your nervous system is in fight or flight around the pricing of your offer. So then, of course, we go and spiral into, oh my gosh, I did so good on this sales call. Everything was going well until I got to the close and I just dropped the ball. If this sounds like you, stick around. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why this happens and some very practical exercises and tools you can use to keep your cool when it comes time to say, this offer is 10K, and have what I like to call the no flinch. And then also how to feel so incredible about your offer that it feels like a no-brainer when you say the price. In fact, I want you to feel fully in your body that it's actually worth 10x the price. So let's dig in. Hello, for those of you who don't know me, I am Jana Nixa, the Authentic Sales Coach. I help consultants, coaches, and service-based entrepreneurs create high-ticket offers that sell and teach them how to attract premium buyers, bringing them through a simple sales process so that they can get more high-ticket clients consistently. And one of the biggest things I hear from my client is, how do I know what to charge? And then how do I not lose my you know what at that point in the sales call where they say, how much is it? And feel really good about saying 5K, 10K, it's 25K, it's 100K, right? So the first thing we want to do is we have to learn how to regulate our nervous system. Because let me be clear, as an entrepreneur, you're going to be in a lot of high stakes situations. Whether you want to go on stage one day or you're going to continue to embark even bigger into the world of high ticket, or even on podcast or whatever it may be, inevitably you're always going to be at the edge of your comfort zone. And so one of the main things I teach inside my coaching programs is we want to learn how to regulate our nervous system so that we don't drop the ball. Okay? Because it's not what you say. It's who you are when you say it. And we've all been in those situations where somebody stepped into doubt, where somebody stepped into fear, where somebody stepped into convincing, where somebody stepped into some weird, forceful, pushy, desperate energy. And in that moment, you've lost them. And so, first things first, let's talk about what to do towards that part where you know, oh, the price is coming, and how to really stand your ground. The first thing is you want to be fully present. So the main thing I see, even with 7-figure coaches, with their sales calls, is they're not listening. They're waiting to talk, which means they're not present with the person. And if you're fully present, not only are you going to build more rapport, you're also going to recalibrate your nervous system, because fear isn't in the present moment. Your ego cannot feed you stories when you are fully present, because if you're fully present, you're listening to them and you're holding space for them, and you're not all up in your head like trying to get it right and figure things out, and having your ego, or that I like to call the little gremlin in your head, feeding you a bunch of nonsense about how this isn't going well and you're not worth this and how could you have said that and you're an idiot and whatever it tries to tell you. Because all of those thoughts are only auditioning for your attention, and they audition really loudly when you're on a sales call, okay? Because the stakes are high. So we got to learn how to do this. So being fully present is going to be key, because your ego doesn't have power there, okay? So as soon as you feel that rise, as soon as you feel that moment is your exact moment, I like to just flick my lovely ego. I love it. It just doesn't belong in sales conversations. I kick it to the curb and I come back to my breath. And so, maybe I'm asking a question and I'm deeply listening and I'm taking a few big, deep belly breaths. This is going to downregulate your nervous system in those moments. The next thing you want to do is ground. So feeling your feet on the floor, get in your body and out of your head. Because if you're in a state of fear, it's because you're up in your head. Get back into your heart. Remember why you're there. It's about them. It's not about you. And start those belly breaths and feeling your feet on the floor and grounding. Like I said, no matter what, no matter how much you feel around, the price, this and that, all of these practices alone are going to have you fully more in your power. I use them on stage. I use them in front, presenting in front of, large audiences virtually. And I do it on a sales call. And there's no room for your ego there. And when you can begin to practice this, you will start to see that it doesn't have power. It will try to come in and it's like, no, not today. And so learning how to notice when it's starting to happen and you've gotten up in your head, bringing yourself back into your heart, remembering your intention, which is about them, not you, grounding and breathing. Something else I like to do is a pre-sales call ritual. If you want to know about the pre-sales call ritual, comment ritual below and I'll make sure that my team sends you over my best training there so that you not only have something that you could do during the call, you have something that you could do before the call, because how you enter into that state that you enter into the call itself is massively powerful and will feed and have that thread throughout the entire call. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, okay, how do we know what to price it, right? How do we know where it is? And we do have to price at the level of our conviction. Now, I believe, borrow my belief if you want, I believe that each and every person who has developed a skill set or has developed a modality or has developed some sort of system that changes lives has a high ticket offer in them. I also believe that anyone who invests at that level is almost inevitably going to get better results than somebody who invests at a much lower level. It's kind of, I tell my clients, it's sort of like going to a trainer versus just a regular gym membership, right? You're going to do things differently with the trainer. You're going to want to get the most out of that time together. You're going to want to do it. You're going to show up, right? You're also probably not going to cheat as much because they're going to hold you accountable. And so the first thing you have to do is decide that you are worth a high ticket price. Add up everything that you've done. Add up all of your years of experience. Add up all the books, the courses, the certifications, and everything. And so that you can realize that you're worth it. And then price at your level of conviction. Don't price at the level of affordability. That is a race to the bottom. There's always going to be people that can afford it and always going to be people that can't. And anybody who's like, oh, that's too much, that's just not the right person. Because high ticket buyers, they want high quality. They want high touch. They want high transformation. And guess what else? They understand that that comes at a price. And in fact, when I've had clients, like hovering in the 2K, 3K space, really like dial in their offer that much more in their messaging and maybe layer in some other pieces, they go from like a 10K to even a 25K offer. And the kicker, hear this, the kicker is they couldn't sell it this almost similar offer at 2 or 3K, but it flies off the shelf at 25K because high ticket buyers value that. They are willing to invest and they understand. So you want to be speaking that premium buyer language so that people understand, they're activated and they get it. But if we're always playing to the lowest common denominator, then you're going to attract people that can't afford it. And that's okay. People are where they are. And it's not like we don't build out our product portfolio to support people at lower levels. We just don't do it first. Remember, here on this channel, we practice the descension model. So if you don't know what that is, definitely check in the videos around how to create a high ticket offer. And I walk you through the descension model. Um, going to be so powerful when it comes to understanding how to speak to the higher level person and then when to build out into that lower ticket arena. So the next thing is really about owning your high ticket offer. And so what I love to do with my clients is put them together an offer that they love so much that they know it's worth 10x what they're charging. So imagine all of a sudden now you have an offer, you're like, oh my God, this is like insanely valuable. Like, I'm going to get you the results. I'm going to get them to you faster. I'm going to bring in other experts to help with this transformation. I've thought of all the things so that you don't have to, right? And when you create offers from that place, it is so easier. It's so much easier to sell because now you're selling with conviction. And no, it's no longer about like, I hope I can get them to want to pay this much. And it's all about like, I've thought this problem through on so many different levels and pulled in so many different layers that it's an insane good deal. And so when you can price at that level and you understand and you're convicted in that price because you've done your due diligence, you've done your homework, and you know that this is an incredible opportunity for someone, it would be selfish not to sell it at that price. Now, let me explain. When we know our value and our worth, and when we know we've put together something incredible that's going to help somebody at the highest level, we owe it to ourselves for them to honor their energy and to honor ours by charging that higher price because we don't want to ever get into resentment. We've all poured from empty cups. We've poured into people that aren't appreciative, right? We've poured into people that aren't doing the work. We've poured into people who don't really show up, right? And that's not where we want to play. Imagine pouring into those high ticket buyers that are showing up, doing the work, following the coaching, implementing, executing, healing, doing the reps, right? Like whatever it may be. And when we own our zone of genius and our premium, irresistible offer energy, the people we draw in are the same way. They're action takers. They get in and they do it. They don't need as much hand holding. I'll tell it to you like this. A low ticket buyer is like, I need more from you, trying to squeeze out every little ounce of anything, right? Whereas a high ticket buyer is like, pay it in full. Tell me when we begin. I'll go ahead and start on the pre-work. Like there's just something about, and it's no judgment of the lower ticket world. That's not the point. The point is a lot of times they're often in lack mentality, and that creates the story and it perpetuates the fear inside them. Whereas if you've owned like your premium high ticket buyer energy and you've owned your high ticket coach energy, there's an energetic match there that is not made in fear. I don't know about you, but I remember when I first started, I would be like, 2K program. And I'd be like, oh my God, I hope this is everything. I hope this saves my entire business. And this is the magic bullet I've been looking for. Like that is not an empowerment energy, right? Whereas now, you know how I buy? I buy 100 times that level. And I go, you know what? At the end of the day, this is always going to get me closer to my goal than further away. And I know in order to be the best at what I do, I have to continually invest. I have to continually expand my vessel, and I have to continually recalibrate at that higher level so that I can receive at that higher level. So there's just this unspoken empowerment at that level that there's no really good words. But I'll put it like this. I just wrapped with a client, and she said, Jana, it's not about selling high ticket. It's about becoming the person who sells high ticket. And I think that really captures in essence what we're talking about today. So just to kind of summarize here, we've talked about how to recalibrate yourself for that higher level. We've talked about pricing at your level of conviction. And we talked about really raising your level of conviction, like really owning what you do and your genius, like go pro, and then price at that level. Because the more we expand, the more we are truly living and shining and reaching our highest potential, the more we show what is available to everybody else. So expand and shine. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to go deeper into this, please check on the links below. We have an event coming up, and I'd love, love, love to explore how you can create offers from this space and sell them with authenticity and ease so that you can have that success that you want in your business. So I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.